All right, in this lesson we're going to talk about what is commonly referred to as the backdoor substitution. All right? And to understand the backdoor substitution, first we have to understand the concept of the 2 for 5 substitution as well, because that's going to kind of tie in. If we look at the dominant 7th chord, let's look at a G7. We've been, for this series of lessons, working in the key of C, which is great because it's easy to see alterations from the diatonic scale. Key of C, no sharps or flats. So let's look at a G7 chord. All right, if I'm playing a basic G7 chord that is a F, B, D, and G, okay? If I've got those notes and I replace the root with a flat 9, I end up with a diminished chord. Now what do we know about diminished? Well, we know a diminished 7th repeats itself every minor 3rd, or every 3 frets. So really what I have, B, D, F, really I have, well, 3/4 of that chord of G7 is a B diminished. Now if I make that flat 9 in there, it gives me a B diminished, a D diminished, an F diminished, and a G sharp diminished, or A flat diminished, which repeats every three frets. So if you think about it, when I move up 3 frets, I've got that diminished shape also. I have a B flat 7 that's 7 flat 9. So G7 flat 9 and B flat 7 flat 9 are basically the same chord. So what I could say is G7 flat 9 and B flat 7 flat 9. Now watch this. If I flat that B natural there, I have a B7 voicing, or B flat 7, excuse me, B flat 7 voicing. B flat 7 flat 9, same as G7. That D flat, if I take that, or D diminished, if I take this note and flat it, look at what that does. It gives me a D flat 7th chord. There's my G flat 7 flat 9. If I flat this D, it gives me a D flat 7 flat 9. So we've established that G7 flat 9 is the same as B flat 7 flat 9, which is the same as D flat 7 flat 9 in this voicing, repeating every minor 3rd. And you guessed it, if we go up here and we take this F diminished, and when I flat the F, I end up with E7 flat 9. So what that tells me is that diminished chords repeating every minor 3rd are so closely related to diminished chords I guess repeat themselves every 3 frets or every minor 3rd. They're kind of in the same family. Okay, now having said that, if I say, okay, G7, and I go up 2 minor 3rds to D flat 7, we already know that substitution works because that's the tritone substitution. So what I'm going to focus on now is that first minor 3rd substitution. So it'd be B flat for G. Okay? Now what that tells me is I could play B flat dominant material over a G7 chord if I chose to do that. Now the trick is I have to be able to resolve it. Now if I take the substitution and concept one step further and I add a 2 chord in front of this B flat minor 7 chord, or B flat dominant 7 chord rather, which is a very easy thing to do, I end up with F minor, okay, F minor, going to B flat 7, and then it would resolve to C. So the original 2-5-1 progression was D minor 7, G7 or G13 in this case going to C. Now check this out. If I go B, F minor 7, B flat, 13, going to C. Now hopefully your ear can hear, oops, sorry, that was a little loud. Your ear can hear that I have some interesting leading tones in there as well. So really what's happening is, if you want to think about it within the key of C, I'm playing 4 minor, F minor, to flat 7 dominant, B flat 7, going to C.